exactly what toll the floods have taken on stock and domestic animals. But one thing is known, thousands of livestock have been killed, displaced or injured. Joining us now is vet Oliver Liyou, who with 7 other vets volunteered their time to help animals during the height of the floods in northern New South Wales. Good afternoon and welcome to you. You volunteered to help out when you saw the scale of the unfolding disaster. Give us a sense of what you and other vet volunteers were confronted with.
Thanks, Kirsten. Basically, we were watching a lot of it on the news and social media when it started unfolding on Sunday the 27th of February, and it just kept getting worse. And I reached out to a friend and colleague, vet Dr Ross from the Lismore area, who does a lot of cattle and horse work up around that area on the Tuesday, and he really explained to me just how epic the magnitude of the flood was going to be, and said it was just going to be diabolical. He also let me know that he was trying to rally the troops through the local authorities and wasn't getting far. So we, so many, literally dozens of private vets have tried to send officers support and try to get down there to help him.
And so aside from vets offering their time and services, I understand that you also cast the net far and wide for material support.
Yeah, well, one of the big issues was Bruno wasn't able to get any real support from the government, so we realised pretty quickly that to get both surveillance done, looking for lost, stranded, injured, cattle, horses, sheep, even found a camel, that we needed to fund it ourselves. So Bruno got on to finding a couple of chopper drivers from Rome Aviation up in Rockhampton. They flew down. Bruno was prepared to foot the bill himself, but when we learned of this, we thought, no, this can't happen. So, and we've just started, there's just been so much amazing support of help and donations and that from vets and vet nurses and farm hands, and there's also some guys, Kate Stoller and Pauline Allen, Lara Johnson, my practice manager, she's been amazing, and Pip Bacon, Jane Mactier, vets from the area have just really done an amazing job in chipping in and coordinating a response that, we're not trained in emergency management. This is my first natural disaster I've been involved with, and it really became apparent that there really is no decent plan for natural disasters, and I think it's got to be the big wake-up call for us going forward that we need a much better plan, because what has been here has been diabolic fail.
So can you then explain to us what you were confronted with when you began this work? We have looked at some images where you were able to clearly drop some food to stranded animals who themselves had managed to kind of sit atop what became islands, but I imagine that there were many injured animals who the vets did have to deal with. It must have been quite distressing at times.
Yeah, well, even the chopper pilots, they're hardcore guys. They're, tough guys who have worked in the territory, and they're tough, but they came back. They were at times in tears. They just said, it is a war zone out there. They were seeing dead cattle 15 metres up in trees, cattle piled up on top of each other in yards or fences where they've been cornered into, couldn't get out. If only someone could have reached them by a chopper and opened the gate and let them out. It's as simple as that. And horses with horrific leg wounds, horses with lungs full of water, cattle that were just on their last breath, and vets were able to reach them and put them out of their misery, basically. So it has just been horrendous what some of the stuff that has been reported from the vets and the chopper drivers and the owners, who are just, they're sleeping in cars out there on islands, no power, no phone, no water. It's crazy, and the stress levels is really impacting on their pets. Their dogs are starting to fight where they didn't used to fight. Dogs attacking the neighbour's sheep and stuff like that, and people running out of dog food because they're still stranded, can't get any help. It is just an animal welfare epic disaster.
Oliver, you did speak to the New South Wales Primary Industries Minister yesterday about the scale of the problem that you yourself have witnessed. What did you ask of him, and did you receive any commitments?
Yeah, we did. It was quite productive, and as of today, we're now at day 12 after the flood started, but we've had good assurance, and it's been asked for by Lara. She's a bit of a pitfall in chasing commitment, and she's got it in writing now from both the chief of the DPI, Scott Hansen, and Dougal Saunders, the Ag Minister, that we will have funding for all the private work that was instigated through Bruno and the vets who came to help him. Nikita Stivard, the local vet, so they've assured us that there will be funding released, and they will also remove which was a major bottleneck in the system. They're going to remove one of the steps of that bottleneck, and they're also very welcome to hear how we can do it better next time. And fortunately, there is a good model that has worked, and Western Australia only 18 months ago developed through the help of Dr Michael Payton and the DPI over there instigated a really efficient emergency plan that will focus on animal welfare, and hopefully New South Wales and other states who haven't got their things in line will be able to contact Western Australia DPI to get details of that plan, because it worked really well in the bushfires over there just earlier this year. So hopefully we can learn and make sure that the troops are, got together and deployed much quicker than they have been in this response.
Now, just finally, and as if there isn't enough in the region to deal with right now, how concerned are you about the risk of Japanese encephalitis, and are there any precautions that you and other vets are taking and that you're advising people who, say, work in the piggery sector to take?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mosquito-borne virus that can kill humans, horses, pigs, and after these floods, we all know mosquitoes just go berserk. So it has been diagnosed, and we're all going to have to really try and ramp up our mosquito repellent efforts, covering up insect repellents, mosquito coils, whatever. But it's we're not there yet. We're just these people are just trying to get some food and some clean water. So that's way down the list. And I've seen people getting around. They've lost everything. They're getting around in bare feet. They don't have shoes. Two horse owners who lost 17 of their 19 horses. We put them up for a night down here, and they were getting around in thongs because they didn't have any shoes. And I had to give them my boots, which was size 12, and they had size 8 feet. But, it's just that bad. There's, the thought of trying to get mozzie repellents when food and water is really what they're after. But, funding to go and buy a new pair of shoes, stuff like that. It's the Japanese encephalitis, we'll have to ramp it up for sure, but we've got to stick to the basics, and we don't have evidence of how quick Japanese encephalitis will spread or anything. We've got to focus on the basics and get the basics done. But just because there's other things, there's Ross River fever, there's Hendra virus, there's all sorts of viruses out there, so we can't get too focused on that and sort of distract us away from the basics.
Oliver Liyou, a vet from Grafton, thank you for talking to us about what you and other vet volunteers have seen out there. It does sound like it's been quite a week.
And if I could just put in we're trying to make sure, there's been so many, we've got 8 horses in our stables now, which are owned by people who have lost their houses, they've lost all their belongings, and there's many stories like that out there, and we've started a GoFundMe page to try and help support these people with their animals, because a lot of them, they've lost their house, their car, everything, and their animals surviving is just going to be one thing that they're hanging on for. And I tell you, this is a mental health disaster as well, and we just got to keep pushing and getting the support out there, getting the counsellors, they're going to have to go and door knock in their, Red Cross labelled cars and that too, because people are fearful of looters. So you don't want just anyone rocking up in a, random car that doesn't have, say, a Red Cross sign or a counsellor sign on it, because these farmers and owners, they're not going to reach out for help. They're going to try and deal with it themselves. So we need to get that done. But we've set up a GoFundMe page to help these people to look after their animals who've lost so much, and it's been an amazing response to that, and we're hoping that can really see the job out and get the job done and get these animals rehabbed, healthy, back to their owners, and give their owners something to look forward to and help them rebuild their lives, because they are this, you know.
You've explained there are very many different layers to this disaster. Oliver Liyou in Grafton pitching in with other vets who you know. Thank you for explaining it to us. We will check in again with you. It's been terrific to talk to you today.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
The body